It seems certain that United would have to make changes for the visit of Brentford, but it was a surprise to only see one of them, with Wout Weghorst finally dropping out of the side. The Dutch forward had started 19 matches in succession since he arrived in January, though there was no way he was going to keep his place after the dire nature of his performance against Newcastle. Jadon Sancho came into the side in his place, and that allowed United to play with a mobile front three, who all interchanged throughout the match and caused their opponents more of a headache than usual. It's clear United need a new forward, but in the meantime, it makes sense to start with a false nine rather than a striker failing to impersonate one. United have not been great goal scorers this season, but they do at least have one in their team. Marcus Rashford had endured somewhat of a drought heading into this match, yet displayed impressive predatory instinct to slam home from close range and give his side the lead. The 25-year-old matched Andy Cole's goal tally with his 121st for the club, and no player has scored more Premier League goals in 2023 than his 9. With Rashford in attack, there is always a chance, and he often only needs one himself. When he scores, they tend to win. There might have only been one direct change from the lineup against Newcastle, but it was a subtle one that made a huge difference in midfield. Marcel Sabitzer struggled in the holding role at St James Park and looked a completely different player when given the freedom to play in his favoured box-to-box role in midweek. He made the most of the space gifted to him and looked a constant threat with his driving runs forward, often switching roles with Bruno Fernandes on the fly to bamboozle Brentford. It is clear that the Austrian has a lot to offer in this United side, and he is at his best when allowed to attack rather than being played in a deeper role that restricts his movement and mobility. David de Gea was criticized for his poor distribution and hesitancy at the weekend, and this was very much a mixed response to those concerns. With fellow Spaniard David Raya in the other goal, a player tipped as a possible option for United, De Gea showcased glimmers of promise with his progressive style of play, but will ultimately be remembered for his awkward adaptation instead. Bruno Fernandes even turned to applaud De Gea when he drilled a pass up front that carved open the Brentford defence and forced a corner out of nowhere. Yet it was soon forgotten about. Just before halftime, he gifted the visitors possession when a loose pass out was intercepted on halfway, and shortly after the break he was saved huge embarrassment when he hesitated over a clearance and fired it straight at Ivan Toney to nearly gift a goal. But in true De Gea fashion he pulled off another fine stop, standing tall to force a mistake from Kevin Shade before saving bravely in a one-on-one. He's a problem and a solution. Lisandro Martinez was unfairly scapegoated when these sides met in the second game of the season. There was no criticizing his performance this time around. The Argentine was man of the match not only because of his brilliant defensive work to keep his side level throughout, but also the creativity he brought to the side. This was another night in which Martinez shone with the ball at his feet, so often carving open the opposition with perfectly weighted passes that pushed his team forward. His real quality will shine when he has like-minded midfielders to link up with, but he is at least doing all he can until they get there.